Welcome to the workshop, and today's subject is one of the Ford Escort Xr3i's that I got in a big loft tool that I purchased recently. In amongst it was the Escort Xr3i racing set, complete with two Escorts, and this is the first one that is going to receive a cleanup and overhaul, tear down, rebuild, to see that it's all okay. So first of all, a little bit about this car. It is model number C.341. It was released in 1984 and then again in 1986 by Scalextric. The 1986 release had working lights. This one doesn't appear to have any working lights, so it's safe to assume this is the 1984 model. And then that was the only year that it was produced, according to the internet. So let's have a look at it then. Okay, so what does it need doing? Overall, it looks quite good. The paintwork's all there. No major damage or anything. On the track, as you can see, it works. It moves. So that's two huge pluses. On the front, just let that focus. Excuse me. Both the headlights are there, the bumper's there. To the rear, bumper's there. One of the lights, don't know if you can see that, one of the lights here that is broken, and it looks like it's been put in the wrong way round, so that's going to need to come out and be put back where it belongs. Underneath, everything seems okay, apart from at some point it has been converted to the new Scalextric pickup, so I'd quite like to restore that back to the original, because I'm a bit of an originality freak. It may have been done because the front wheels are quite loose, so they might have made a modification there to hold the front wheels in, but we'll find out once we get it open. And the tyres are not too bad, but fairly worn, so they'll need replacing. So the plan is strip it all down, fix that rear light, fix the front guide blade, and then clean up the machinery inside and give it a bit of a detail, clean it up, polish it up, see if we can get it looking good again. Right, let's begin. First thing we've got to do, gently, there's no screws on this older car, there's no screws holding the base plate to the chassis, so there we go, and we're in. There we go. So try and get that to focus. Come on, is that going to focus? There we go. So nice and straightforward. Wires from the pickup straight to the motor. Couldn't be any simpler than that. Motor then drives the gears, which drive the wheels. Perfect. And as you can see, there's this screw here which has been put in to hold the modern blade in place, and I've got a feeling that is probably holding these wheels in place. So I think what we need to do first, actually before I do that, what I want to do is just pop the motor out, let's have a look. That seems okay. Let's just put some power through it. Seems to be working fine, but what I might do, just give it a little blast of contact cleaner. Probably doesn't need it, but providing it doesn't burst into flames. Right, so let's undo that screw there. Just undoing the screw that holds that guide blade in, and the wheels aren't instantly falling out, so they haven't put it in simply to do that. And then what we've got to do next is just get the wires up from around there. And then that is the motor completely detached. And how's that been done? They've crimped the wires onto the new guide blade, so we'll have to have a look at that. Right, let's pop that out. Wheels come off nice and easily. This could do with a bit of a clean up. Rear wheels are coming out. They've come off. If you look on there, if it focuses, which it won't, there's quite a bit of gunk on there. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's swap over to the microscope. So over on the microscope view now, you can see there's a little bit of fibre and gunk on the rear axle that could do with cleaning off, but not too much. That's not too bad. And whilst we're in the microscope, let's just have a look if we can focus that. Let's just have a little look at the teeth on this drive cog, because they're a bit worn. That one there's pretty worn. That one's very worn. Okay, so judging by the wear on that, it may be worth me putting a new one in, because some of those teeth look pretty worn down. Right, so just got to take the rear axle apart, and I'm probably going to replace that, but might clean it anyway. So we've got working bits, and then we've got the chassis, so, or the body I should say. That came out quite nicely, and then the glass should just come out. And does the driver's head pop off? Yep, the driver's head pops off. So there we go. The car is now broken down into all of its parts. Oh, actually we can take these tyres off the wheels. There we go. I have got new tyres on order. But we might have to put those back on if the new ones don't fit, so we'll keep them safe. Right. So that's that. What I want to do now is just move those plastic bits to one side, because they are going to get a clean and a wash up in a moment. Before I do that, right, let's get that, and let's find an original guide blade to see if it still fits. Right, okay. That one maybe. Will it fit? It does, but not very well. It looks like, got a horrible feeling, it looks like that hole has been bored out to make it wider to fit the newer guide blade. Let me just try a few more about that one. No. It looks like I'm going to have to stay with the non-original guide blade, which is a shame, because I think that may affect how close it sits to the track. Let's have a look. It's not a huge difference. I'd rather not have a guide blade that keeps falling out, so I think we'll stick with the non-original edition that's been made. Right, so now I'm going to go take all these plastic parts and I'm going to give them a wash in some lukewarm soapy water, just some water with a washing up liquid, mild detergent in them, just to get any grease and dirt off of them, and then we're going to start the process of cleaning it up. Right, so we're back from the car wash. All of the parts have had a quick wash and rinse, some lukewarm soapy water. So now what I want to do is take a look at the condition of the bodywork underneath the microscope. Now some cars are painted and some cars are just polished plastic. This one is polished plastic, and then it looks like these bits here, the coloured bands, they're painted on. So we can have a look under the microscope, see what we can do to try and bring a bit of the colour back and bring a bit of shine to it. Right, let's have a look. Right, so we're under the microscope, and what we're looking at here is the roof of the car under magnification, and you can see quite a few scratches and swirls in the plastic. So I'm just going to put a little bit of very light rubbing compound just to see if we can take some of those scratches out of the plastic and bring some of the colour back. So this is the side that I haven't yet rubbed down with the rubbing compound, and then if we go across, this is the side that I have. As you can see, it's taken out some of the finer scratches and brought up a bit more of a shine to the plastic. You see that there? That's the side that has been rubbed down, and that's the bit that hasn't. So not been rubbed down versus rubbed down. So I'm going to carry on doing that and see if we can get the shine back up on that. So on the parts of the car that have decals, it's painted on, and these bits are painted on, you just rub over very, very lightly. Otherwise, if you press too hard, you're going to actually rub the paint off, and that won't look very good. Let's take that light up. Right, now I've given it a good rub over with the rubbing compound. I'm going to just lightly buff that off, and again gently where there are painted decals, just rub very gently, because like I say, if you over buff it, you'll end up just rubbing the paint off, and it'll look worse than when you started. Now it's coming up quite nicely. It's actually getting quite a nice shine on it now. Yeah. Right. There we go. As you can see, let's try and get it to focus. There we go. So now we're going to repeat the process again, just using a finer cutting compound. This is what they call a pre-waxing glaze. So this, all of these products that I'm using are actually designed for real cars. So yeah, I'm just putting a pre-waxing glaze on the car. Again, this is a very, very fine cutting compound, so again, be very careful over the painted parts, because if you press too hard it will take the paint off. Right. Is starting to look very nice. Wow. See if we can check out the shine. Will it focus? No, it won't. There we go. Right, just got to do, that's that shined up, and then we'll give it a final polish after assembly, and then we've just got to clean up the glass, or what would be glass, it's plastic, but now with that I should be able to just get a shine back onto that just by using the lighter cutting compound. Just give it a light rubbing over. Quick going over inside, because there would have been some dust and grime built up in there. There we go. And then we can polish that up. That looks okay. Very good. And then last of all, don't need to give this too much attention, just a quick wipe over with the polishy cloth really. Here's the cockpit. There we go. So I'll just make sure that that's, give that a quick clean. There we go. So time to put it all back together. So here we go, time to put it all back together. First of all, I'm going to get the front axle and just give it a quick clean up with a cloth to get any grime or grease off of it, and then we're going to clip that into place, he says. That's actually tighter than what I thought it would be. Oh my goodness. Come on. There we go. And then what I'm going to do, this is just a very light fine machine oil, and I'm just going to put drop there and a drop there. Perfect. Just wipe any excess off, and then I've got a new rear axle to go in. I'm going to reuse the old bearings because they're not too bad. Just line them up. There we go, and then clip them in. Now one of them, see that side, it is a bit loose, it's not as tight as that side, and I could probably do with gluing that in place, but where it's such an old classic car, it's not actually going to get used that much. It's more for show really, so there's going to be a bit of play there. I'm not going to do anything about that, I'm just going to leave that. Okay, so let's clip the motor back in, and actually before we put the motor back in, I'm just going to put a tiny little drop of machine oil, tiny drop, that end, and then a tiny little drop that end. You don't want too much oil going inside a motor, but just enough to sort of lubricate the spindle on it really. And then let's clip that back in. Without breaking anything, he says. Come on. Behave. Oh my goodness, come on. There we go. We're in. Right. Just check that that's when it focuses. There we go. Just check that's turning and engaging like it should do. There we go. Right, now let's feed these wires back round. Do you know what? I think I should have done that before I clip the motor in really, but it will just about fit. There we go. So these wires going back in like so, and then we push the guide blades back up. Right, now where's that screw gone? So this is the screw and the little plate that just screws into the back of that. Oh, screws into the back of that guide. Oh my goodness, this is a fiddly bit. It's a fiddly bit when you try to do it with a microphone and a camera in your face. You probably can't see what I'm trying to do here, so let me move the camera. Basically trying to screw this back on. Bear in mind it wasn't actually designed for this model of car. Here we go. There we go. Screw that in like so. Now line it up in the middle. How loose did they have it? See, there's not really much movement there. Not overly happy about that, but let's just loosen it off a bit. unfortunately, whoever done this modification, they've drilled that bore out on where the guide blade goes, so the old one won't go back in. Right, there we go. So that's that rewired. Let's get rid of that. We haven't got new tyres yet, so just for now I'm going to put it back together with the old tyres whilst I wait for the new tyres to arrive. There we go. Oh dear, this tyre really is a mess. Right, let's pop the wheels back on. These should just slide back on like that. Very nice. Houston, we have a problem. Guess I should have checked that first, shouldn't I? The new, can't really have it running around, can I? No, I can't do that, that'd be silly. Okay, so yeah, the new axle is the wrong size, so out it comes. Yeah, right, I can't be bothered to cut that down or anything. We'll just have to put the old one back in for now anyway. Let's give that a little drop of oil. Wheels back on. Right, there we go, we've got the chassis reassembled. So what could we do to improve this? We've got new tyres on the way. We could try and find a correct sized replacement rear axle, but this looseness there in that bearing, I think that's probably gonna, I'm not really gonna run this car, to be honest, but that has got quite a lot of movement, so that needs gluing in place really. But for now I'm just happy to leave it. We'll leave it for now. Okay, so time to put the body back on. We could do with finding a replacement light if they do such a thing, but for now I will just take that piece of light that's remaining and try and reinsert it the correct way. Which I believe that is. Well, it's not sitting in there very well. Both the brake lights would be on the inside, so that must be correct. Okay, so Mr. Driver, back in. Oh no, hang on. Windows. Put the window back in. And then Mr. Driver, there we go, he's all clipped in nice and happy. And then Let's realign that. Oh, worried it's going to break. No, there we go, we're in. Right, okay. One last thing to do, and that is just to give it a last final polish. This is just a car polish, spray on liquid car polish that gives a really good shine on plastics. So here we go, the finished article, all cleaned up, shined up and put together. What's still wrong with it? What could be done more? The wing mirrors are missing. I could find some wing mirrors for it. We've got the broken rear tail light. You could try and find a replacement one of them. We've got the slightly wobbly rear axle. I could glue that bearing in. That'd stop that. And we've got the non-original front guide blade. Tyres need changing, but I have actually managed to source them. They're on the way. But to be honest, how old's this car? 1984. What's that? 30? Yeah, 38 years old. This car. I've managed to put some shine back onto it. I don't know if you can see that there. Still see some scratches and swirls. Let's try and get it in focus. There we go. There we go. Look. There we go. Oh, I don't think this is ever going to be a racing competition car. It's a 38-year-old classic, so if it ever runs around the track, then that's how it will be treated. Right, well, there we go. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching that and you want to see some more, then like the video and subscribe to the channel, because I've got a huge pile of cars to work my way through. So there's going to be more videos like this of tear downs and rebuilds and maintenance on some of these old classic cars that I find in people's lofts. I suppose the only thing left to do is run it around the track a few times. Thanks for watching. Bye.